There have been people holding down the price of gold for decades, but you know what? It ain't working anymore. They were using basically paper types of buy and sell instruments that they could buy futures and that sort of thing. And the price of gold has been rocketing up recently, and it's just amazing. And I'm excited, and I want to talk to you guys about that. Inflation has eaten up the buying power of the American family. And, inflation was a big problem decades ago. It's reared its ugly head. And even though right now inflation is, at least for the short term, down again, it's really done a huge impact over recent years. And people are finally coming around to gold as a hedge against inflation. It was what it classically always is that when inflation goes high, gold goes even higher. Gold is up over 40% in just the last year. I have investments, some stocks, some other stuff. Dang, I wish that those other investments would go up 20%. Instead, gold is going up twice that much. 40% in a single year. That's a huge amount. Gold is now up to $2,600 an ounce as I'm recording this, and it's been setting record after record after record after record. And it's just amazing. I have a lot of gold that I've accumulated over the years in a safety deposit box, and it's really becoming quite an investment, being up 40% in a single year. Only a 1 gram, which is like a good sized pinch of gold dust, is $85. That's just crazy. It doesn't take very much gold to find to be able to pay for your gasoline or whatever your expenses are. There are folks out there making some really good money on the price of gold shooting up like this. But what surprises me most is that there just really isn't a lot of people that are all excited. There aren't really a lot of people excited about it. It's like it's going up, and it's like, okay, yeah, it's setting new highs. Kind of interesting, but no one is fired up about it, or at least very few people are fired up about it. I'm one, yeah, of course I'm fired up about it, but just not that many people are. A lot of people look at it and say, well, gold is really expensive, and, it just means that I wouldn't be able to buy it, or if I bought some, I'd buy less of it because it's so expensive. But the truth is, there's gold out there to be found. There's gold out there to be taken. There's gold that you can go out and grab for yourself. But nobody seems to be interested in it. It's like the younger guys, they'd rather be swiping, doing TikTok or Reels or something like that, on their phone. They'd rather be playing video games and that kind of stuff than get out there into the field, get out there into the woods, get out there into the deserts, into the mountains, on the rivers, whatever. There's so many places that gold can be found, and a lot of people just don't seem to realize that anymore. The western U.S. and parts of the Appalachians have yielded millions of ounces of gold, and the old-timers didn't get it all. There's still gold out there for the taking. And if you're not doing that, if you're not actively doing that, how come? This summer I found over $4,000 worth of gold, and I didn't even go out that many times. I found a single nugget that was worth $1,000, and I found another nugget that was worth about $750. I found several that were $300-400, and quite a number of them that were, say, in the $50 to $200 range. I got a lot of gold, and I wasn't even out that many times. And that gold is going up and up and up in price as the gold price goes up in the market. Let me show you some of my finds.
Early on in the season, I took my metal detector out and discovered a quartz vein that had metal detectable gold. Some of these pieces, the gold was visible, but all of them sounded off on the metal detector. They may not look like much, but when I crushed the quartz down and panned it out, I got quite a bit of gold, as you can see here. So I melted it all down and poured it into a little button, and I got a little over 4 grams of gold. And this, at today's price, even counting impurities, is still more than $300, which is pretty good wages for a day's detecting. Later, I went to an area that I'd detected a number of times before, but I did some research and got some new ideas. And hey, My new idea has paid off. I got this nugget, which, like I mentioned, is worth more than $1,000. It's almost a half an ounce. And maybe about 100 feet away from that one that ran $1,000, I got this one, which is just a little less than 9 grams, and at the current price is about $750. It's some nice gold. Here is some of the gold that I've been finding in that area, and you can see it's very rough and coarse. It's close to the source. It's never really been in any stream or any type of environment where it would get tumbled around. It's kind of a residual placer. And then when I took this picture, I had 40 plus grams, but I'm currently up over 52 grams, and there's still a little bit of the season left and still a good amount of area that I feel like I need to detect to see what gold is there. And, this is really adding up to some significant money.
Are you motivated yet? I'm trying to give you a good, healthy case of gold fever because it's a great thing to have. It's a disease you want. Now, there's lots of people out there finding gold, but there should be a lot more with this price so high. There should be a lot more excitement. Getting out there into the hills and the deserts, the rivers and all, it's good, healthy exercise. Get off your behind, get off the couch, get off the video games, get off the TikTok on your phone or whatever you're looking at. Get out there into the hills and get some exercise and get some gold for your effort. Some guys go fishing, some guys go hunting. I'm out there hunting myself, but I'm hunting gold. And you should be out there too. At this price, the fever should be super high and loads of people should be trying to figure out how they can get out and find some gold. But there just isn't the level of excitement that I'd expect. If you told me a few years ago, hey, gold's gonna be at $2,600 an ounce, and I would say, wow, there'll be people everywhere out there looking and digging. But then you told me, yeah, a few people will care, but really not that many. I would be shocked. And what that tells me, that the fact that there isn't that excitement level yet, even among investors, there just isn't that excitement level yet. What that tells me is that gold has a lot more room to run. When gold reaches highs, it basically gets to a situation where everybody's in the market and it reaches a high and there's no more people to come in to boost the price even higher. And so then it kind of peaks and starts going down. And what's been happening lately with the price of gold is it goes up, 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 and then it consolidates and basically catches its breath for a little bit and then goes higher and higher and higher. And I think that that's what's going to keep happening. $2,600, I think we're going to see $3,000 next year. And it wouldn't surprise me if in the years following we saw $4,000 and even $5,000 an ounce. Now's the time to get involved and get out and learn the skills of finding gold. If I've succeeded in getting you to think about the idea of going out and getting your own gold, whether it's something that's totally new to you or something you did in the past, but maybe the high price of gold is making you think about getting involved again or getting more involved, more than just once or maybe twice a year. There's a lot of different kinds of prospecting equipment out there, and it's available at all different sorts of price points. I get guys, I had a guy the other week who said to me, hey, you're out there using a $7,000 or $8,000 metal detector and I could never even think of affording something like that. Okay, I totally get that. But you can get out, and I've done this, you can get out there with a plastic pan and some hand tools, gardening tools. You can easily set yourself up for 20 or 30 bucks, okay? And that's not the kind of money that the average Joe can afford. That's the kind of money that anybody can get involved in. And I've had some great luck panning and sniping, crevicing, and digging out materials. I have done things where I have a wetsuit and I put on my wetsuit and just kind of float down the river with a mask and a snorkel and dig out crevices and find gold that way. The biggest nugget I've ever found that way was a 1/4 ounce nugget. I found a 1/4 ounce nugget once in a swimming hole that the local kids used to come down there and jump off a rope into this hole. And at the edge of the hole, there was some bedrock. And in a little crevice in the bedrock, really the crevice was only just a little bigger than the nugget itself, there was this bright gold nugget that weighed a full 1/4 ounce. And at today's prices, that's $600, and it took me like a few minutes to dig it out of the ground. So, you can get into panning and sniping and that kind of stuff for comparatively easy money. And it can even be done dry. I've cleaned out dry crevices and that kind of stuff, and then taken the material either to water that I've brought or down to a creek that's nearby. So panning and sniping is an easy thing to do, and it's cheap to get into.
Panning can be a simple, relaxing activity that you do by yourself by the side of a river, or panning can be an interesting activity for the whole family that can be shared by everyone.
The next step going up is to get a sluice box. With a sluice box, you can process maybe 10 times more than you can with a pan. You still have to dig the material, but literally instead of sitting there and panning, you can put it in a sluice box and let the flow of a stream wash the lighter stuff off and capture the heavy stuff, which of course is going to include the gold. And you can do things that way. I do a lot of sluicing. I've done videos on it, and you can get a sluice box for $100 or so, and it's still not a large expenditure of money. It really is something that you can do rather easily. A shovel, a couple of buckets, and I've done videos on it, and I'm gonna put a link up here to one of the videos that I've done that tells you a little bit more about how to run a sluice, how to get gold with a sluice. And I've found ounces and ounces just with a sluice box. So you don't have to spend huge amounts of money. Again, this is another step up the ladder. Start with a pan. If you like it, go to the sluice box. If you like it, go next, keep taking steps up the ladder. The next one I want to talk about is dry washing. Now, dry washing is something you do where it's dry, right? In the desert. Desert dry washing is the common thing, and people will run their dry washer for a long time. And basically what a dry washer is like an air-powered sluice box. So, you don't have water to run a regular sluice or even a high banker, where you have a pump and a reservoir. That's a high banker. It just is a sluice box with, instead of using the flow of a stream, you use the power of a pump. And so, basically the next step up in the wet side is a high banker, but the next step up on the dry side, like for a desert, is the dry washer. And I've done videos on dry washing, and basically it takes you to places where you don't need water, and you, like say, use air as your material to keep the gravel suspended, and it has riffles like a sluice box, and puffs of air or a continuous stream of air, depending on which type of dry washer you have, will keep the material suspended, and the light stuff moves just like in a sluice box. The light stuff moves on out of the sluice. The heavier stuff gets caught behind the riffles, and I've done some videos on that. So let me put, if you're interested in dry washing, because if you live in a dry area, deserts, that kind of stuff, if you live in a place where deserts that are gold bearing are nearby, you want to look into dry washing. It's cool. I do a lot of it here in Nevada, and I'll put a link to one of the videos I've done on dry washing right above me there.
Here I am running a dry washer. Now, I'm not actually in the desert. I'm in the Sierra Nevada gold country up in the mountains. But still, it's dry here in the summer, and there's not any flowing water anywhere real close by. And so, it's a great place to use a dry washer on the dry gravels up there. And I basically have dug buckets full, and you can see the buckets in the background, and I'm putting the buckets in through the dry washer. The coarse material material goes out the front, and then you can see the finer material and some dust there coming out the back, and then there's a pile of fines that come off the sluice box, the riffles in the back there. But this is how a dry washer works, and like I say, if you're interested, check out the video that I linked to.
The next step up in the line is the more expensive one. It's called metal detecting. And basically, there are different kinds of metal detectors. The most inexpensive ones are designed for coins and that sort of thing, jewelry, relics. And the thing is, the less expensive machines, going after coins, a coin is a really large type of object to be looking for. So the detector doesn't have to be that sensitive. It can kind of ignore a lot of things because, well, just as a comparison, a nickel is very similar in response on a metal detector based on size and weight and that sort of thing to a 1/4 ounce nugget. Well, hey, 1/4 ounce nuggets are great, but you don't want to ignore smaller gold that may only be worth, at today's prices, $200. A 1/4 ounce nugget is, like I say, $650 at today's, $675 at today's prices. And so, you don't want to ignore a $200 nugget because, hey, a $200 or a $100 nugget is pretty nice. And if you get an inexpensive coin machine, that's kind of what you're doing. So the nugget metal detectors designed for nugget detecting are a little bit more expensive, but there are some that are out there that are only a few $100s. Of course, there are ones going all the way up to the one that I use frequently, but not always. That's upwards of about $7,000. Now there's metal detectors in the $1,000 range, and some really good ones. And one of the ones that I use a lot, the Gold Monster 1000, is in the $1,000 range or a little bit less than that. And I'm going to be telling you soon about a new one coming out from Fisher. That's the Gold Bug Tracker. And I'm really looking forward to being able to show you this machine and tell you its price and all the details and when it will be available. But it's not quite available. It's going to be, though, a lower end price detector that does have the power to find gold nuggets, including some fairly small ones. And so the Gold Bug Tracker is a really exciting thing that's on the horizon, and I'll be telling you a lot more about it in the near future. I've certainly done loads of videos on metal detecting. You can look through that, metal detecting for nuggets. But I'm going to put one in here about choosing the right metal detector for yourself. If you're interested in this, there's ones on the market, and a lot of people ask, well, what should I get? Well, it depends on what you're going to do, where you're at, what's your budget, how much are you going to use it. There's all these different factors, and I'm going to tell you more about that in a video I'm linking to right up here.
Here's me out detecting, and actually this is this year when I was out using the GPZ 7000, but there's a lot of other good detectors on the market, and detecting is just one of those ways that you can go for a walk and swing your detector and literally cover hundreds of cubic yards of ground by swinging your detector over it. And it's a tool like something no other old timer had in the old days. It's totally unique. It's modern technology.
The next step up the ladder is dredging. Now, I used to do a lot of dredging. I'll show you a picture.
Here's me in my dredging setup from way back when, in the water it was nice, and I was always getting some good gold.
And I used to do a lot of dredging in California before California made suction dredging illegal. There's fights and arguments about it all the time, and some people will tell you different things. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to try and dice hairs and cut things up and figure out some marginally legal way that you might dredge. A lot of people still dredge in California that do it behind gates, in hidden places and that kind of stuff. It still goes on. but I'm not gonna in a public video say, hey, you ought to do that. It's like, no, it's illegal in California, and it's legal in some states, and the legal scene changes from time to time. So I'm not gonna say, well, it's legal here, it's legal there, because if I say in this video, oh, it's legal in such and such state, and then 6 months from now the rules change, well, then my video is wrong, and people will say, well, you told me it was legal. Well, the truth is the impact that dredging has on streams, if it's done right, is pretty much zero. I mean, fishermen come in and kill fish on purpose, and the state of California gives them a license to kill fish on purpose. And so, the truth is that when I used to dredge in California, there would always be trout and other fish behind my dredge because I'm stirring up hellgrammites and other bugs and stuff in the gravel, and they're coming off and going through my sluice box and floating out the back, and the rocks go down pretty quick, but the bugs, it takes a little longer, so the fish are back there just waiting for the bugs, catching them, swimming in the river. Oh, here's another bug, So the truth is that the impact that dredging has is pretty much zero, but California is an environmental extremist state, and pretty left wing, so that's why it's illegal in California. It's legal in Nevada. The problem is Nevada is a desert state, and the places that have water don't have gold, and the places that have gold don't have water. So, and you need both gold and water to make your dredging worthwhile. So not much dredging takes place in the state of Nevada. But other states, it's legal, and there's debate and law changes and stuff. But dredging is a fun thing. I used to enjoy that so much. In the summertime, in the heat of the summer, I'd get in the water and just suck up the gravel and go through my sluice box, and I'd get the gold out of it. So it was great. I really enjoyed it. Like I say, I really haven't done any dredging since 2009 when California made it illegal, but people dredge all over Alaska. That's another thing that people do in Alaska, because there's gold and water in Alaska, and when you're there in the summertime, if you have a good wetsuit or good dry suit, even better, it's a good deal. So take a look at dredging, because it's pretty interesting. The last thing I want to talk about is something that can be done in a lot of places, is hard rock digging for gold. And I've done some of this too, where you get out and you can get in veins. Now, a lot of times surface veins are fractured enough that you can take them out with a pick. Once you get down far enough underground, they start getting harder and harder and less weathered, because on the surface, weathering of the rain and freezing and thawing and that kind of stuff breaks up the rock and makes the surface material more friable and crumbly. But it involves getting together some sort of material to crush the rock. Basically the idea with hard rock gold is to get the ore, to crush it down, and then you process it either with some sort of sluice, or like the gold cube, which is basically a sluice type of operation, or like a shaker table or something like that, or even a centrifugal table or centrifugal bowl type of thing. So there's lots of different ways, but hard rock can be expensive. You have to have the money to break the rock, and you have to have the money to crush the rock. You have to have the equipment to break the rock, the equipment to crush the rock. But I have little crushers that I use, and I've done videos on mining hard rock gold and how to get the gold out of hard rock ore. And I'm going to put a video link up here if you want to check that out, if you have any interest in hard rock gold, because there's zillions of little hard rock mines all over the place, and a lot of prospectors seem to ignore the hard rock end of things because it's more work and more effort, right? But you can get some pretty dang good gold. And the truth is, the metal detectors go with the hard rock too, because, and I've done this, you can go along the walls of the mine and you can see into the rock with the metal detector, right? The metal detector sees stuff, that may be a few inches or 6 inches, and if it's enough gold, maybe even a foot into the vein, you can see the gold that isn't visible on the surface with a metal detector. And I've found some really great video or great gold with a metal detector. And in fact, I kind of hit onto a surface pocket earlier this year, and I'm going to put a video link to that one if you want to check that out. All these video descriptions, all these videos and stuff, they'll be in the description down below. If you want to check the links out, I'll have that all in the description for this video. Now, all this types of equipment, from the pans to the sluices to high bankers and all that, except the dry washers, can be purchased through my friends at High Plains Prospectors. They're my partners, and I kind of made a deal with them that you can get a 5% discount, and I also get a small percentage of their sales, and they get the business that I will bring to them through you guys. And so if you're really interested in this, you know, High Plains is a great outfit to work with. The discount code that you would enter in order to get the 5% discount is Chris Ralph, CHRISRALPH, all in caps with no space. So it's not Chris space Ralph, but CHRISRALPH, all caps. That'll get you the 5% discount, and we'll work things out really great. They're good guys to deal with. I recommend them. If you don't have a local prospecting equipment store near you, they're great guys to deal with. They're very reliable. I bought stuff through them, so I'm confident in recommending them to you. I've also put links to the various types of equipment down in the description as well, so that you know, if you want to go directly from the links in the description to High Plains' website, then great. You know, that those links will be down there that you can click on and get access to. Now, no matter what kind of prospecting method you use, whether it's a simple gold pan or whether it's an expensive metal detector, a dredge, which dredges are also kind of expensive, or, you know, doing hard rock stuff, you know, and all the equipment, whatever method you're using, you have to have knowledge and skill. That's the one thing that you need to have. That you know, we're 150 years too late to just go out in the field and find nuggets on the ground lying all over the place. You know, 150 years ago, the old timers maybe could do some of that, but we're just a little bit too late. And so, you know, it takes skill to find gold. You need to know what you're doing, and it takes time to learn those skills. Now, in order to impart to you the skills of being able to go out and find gold, I wrote a book. It's called Fistful of Gold, and it's available through my partners at High Plains, and you can get it, and it's going to be really helpful. It's going to impart to you the big part of my 40 years of prospecting experience. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my book right now. This is my book, Fistful of Gold. It's an encyclopedia of everything you need to know to go out and find gold for yourself. It distills down my 45 years of experience out in the field prospecting, as well as my degree in mine engineering. It's, like I say, an encyclopedia. There's a lot to it. It's over 250,000 words long, hundreds of pages with hundreds of illustrations, teaching you what you need to know about geology, about mining districts, about techniques of finding gold. It covers metal detectors, sluicing, panning, dry washing, high bankers, you know, you name it, it's covered in there. It talks some about platinum and diamonds, but it's mostly about gold because gold is more widespread. It is not so much a book about where to find gold, but a book about how to find gold. Because even if you have a location where gold was mined in the past and you go out there, well, where should you look to be successful in your prospecting, to find the gold that's there? This is the book that's going to tell you that information. I spent most of 10 years writing this book, so I thought a long time about it. It's got, like I say, lots of information. and lots of illustrations, and I've had results from people who bought it. It's available on Amazon, but I recommend buying it through High Plains Prospectors, and I'll put a link in the description for buying this book through them. They have a better price than Amazon, and I have a special deal that I'll tell you a little bit more about, where you can get a 5% discount from the price even with that. On Amazon, the book rates a 4.7 out of 5, which means that of all the people that have bought it, they've been really highly satisfied, and I think you, if you buy my book, will be just as highly satisfied as well. Now let's talk a little bit more about High Plains Prospectors. They're a prospecting shop, a mail order prospecting shop that I've partnered with. The deal is that I can get you a 5% discount, a coupon code, and I'm going to put the code to that right here. It's just Chris Ralph, all caps with no space between Chris and Ralph. You put that in there as a discount code, and you'll get 5% off their already really good prices. I think it's a great deal where you win by getting a discount. I get a little percentage of that, and they get new business. So if you need prospecting supplies, High Plains is really the way to go. And I'll put information, like I say, in the description more about how you can work with them, because I'm working with them. They really are great guys, a great company. For even more information, I also have a website, and I'm going to show you my webpage and talk a little bit more about that right now.
This is my webpage. It's located at NevadaOutbackGems.com. You can Google it, or I have a link down in the description below. But there's lots of information here, miscellaneous stuff, pictures, some historic information as well, stories. It's got a lot of great fun stuff. You'll probably be interested in it.
Now, on all of my YouTube videos, I encourage you guys to ask questions. If you have thoughts, comments, suggestions for things that I ought to look at in my videos, things that you want to find out more about, and I answer 100% of my questions. There's not very many YouTubers out there that answer 100% of their questions. I'm one of the few. And so I will do my best to answer what you have. I mean, I only can write so much. Sometimes the answer is something where I'm going to recommend that you buy the book and read about it. I also ask that you subscribe to my channel, click the bell notification so that every time I come out with a new video, you'll be able to watch it. And like I say, I cover a huge amount of topics. I also have 250 videos that I've already done. And so you can go back through my catalog of videos on YouTube. I'm sure there'll be many videos there that you'll want to take a look at, especially if you have any interest in gold or platinum, diamonds, gemstones, geology, and that sort of stuff. My YouTube site is going to be right up your alley. So I'll see you again real soon. We'll be out in the field and back in the office at the whiteboard, and whether we're looking at gold or platinum, diamonds, gemstones, or other interesting geology, it's going to be fun. You're going to enjoy it, and we'll see you again real soon.